Hi there, welcome to the YouTube channel. Today's card that I'm looking at from a commander point of view is Arvad the Cursed. 3 white and black for a 3/3 Death Touch Life Linked Vampire Knight that gives us a really great ability. Other legendary creatures you control get +2/+2. It's legendary creatures, it's black-white, it's a lot of fun to build. Unusually for me, this is the second uncommon commander that's been thrown up in the day. Obviously, yesterday's one was Corlisa. So, but hey, it throws them up. I try and build them if I haven't built them already. So, Arvad the Cursed, here we go. Yeah. Come follow me on Twitch, is all I'm going to say for now. Yeah, link down below in the description with the deck list. Go give me a follow on Twitch. Help me out over there a little bit. Anyway, the deck is this. Before we go any further with the deck, though, I'm just going to point out that I am playing some of the more expensive cards in my MTGO collection. There's a couple of cards you can drop out which will lower the cost of this quite considerably from a land point of view. One of which is Marsh Flats is in here. The other one of which is a little bit further down here. If I can find it, there you go, Scrublands in here as well. Yeah, I played them both in this deck. Everything else is pretty much about muchness. Swamps, Temple of the False Gods back. The Heaths, the Urborgs, the other one you can potentially drop if you need to. A few swamps, a few plains, Path of Ancestry, a few of the Orzhov lands, Mikyoko, or the Centre of the Sea, if I've said that right. I'll get it right one day. I'll find a pronunciation guide, I'm sure. That's here, just so we can get a little bit of card draw for everybody. Fabled Passage is here. But for me, I didn't play Field of the Dead because that doesn't give me legendary zombies. Artifact round-wise, Mox Tanzanite, Soul Talisman, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Charcoal Diamond, Marble Diamond, Jet and Pearl Medallions, and Talisman of Hierarchy. They're all here today. Yeah, I'm playing a black-white deck, so I haven't got to worry about green today. But what I've tried to do, just so we can always hit this +2/+2 bonus, I've tried to make every single creature in the deck legendary, and I think I've succeeded because there are so many to pick from, and I have literally gone through and picked my favourite black-white legendary creatures. You may play something completely different, but these are my preferred ones, and I think this is going to work well for me. So, Yosemaru, Ever Faithful, kicks off the legendary creatures, followed quickly by Elixir of Immortality, so we can get everything back in our deck when it goes pear-shaped. Keleth, Sunmane Familiar, is here, just to put some +1/+1 counters on Arvad when he attacks, and he will be attacking with Deathlink and Lifelink. Death Touch and Lifelink, sorry. Chalet, Dean of Radiance, stroke Ambrose, Dean of Shadow. I think playing this depends on really which way you want to do what you want to happen. I like early having Chalet out if I'm going to put the +1/+1 counters on the creatures that entered this turn. If it's late in the game though, I tend to play the Ambrose side because it tends to be a little bit better for you to get some card draw on the go if you've got a few +1/+1 counters kicking around from other places. Yeah, anyway. Thalia, Garden of Thraben. I only played one version of Thalia because I didn't want to go down the Death and Taxes route, so this one's in just to annoy people. The Flowering of the White Tree is a wonderful card for this deck, giving all our legendary creatures, which is literally everything apart from a few tokens, +2/+1 and Ward, makes it very hard to deal with this deck. The Raven Man comes in, people can discard, we can get some birds if we need to, but this becomes a 2/1. Tharan, Executioner Than, is also here. Do a bit of life gain and life loss for everyone else. Girini, Dauntless General, gets us a way to get rid of an annoying card in the graveyard, and then if we need to make all the human legends we control indestructible and hexproof. Killen Ink Duelist, Lifelink Menace. You can't do much more than this, and spells you cast at target creature cost 2 less to cast. Haven't got any of them, but yeah, we've got a 2/2 Lifelink with Menace, which is great. Environmental Sciences is here. I did say I'll be playing it a little bit more in yesterday's video. It's here today, most definitely. 3 drops. Lauren of the Third Path, just to blow up some enchantments for artifacts for noise and a little bit of card draw for you and someone you've hopefully buddied up with. Marvin Fane, Dusk Apostle, gives us 1/1 vampires with lifelink if we need them. Path of Bravery gives us a nice boost to our creatures again. Adelaine, Resplendent Cathar, gives us a whole load of tokens if we need them. Glorious Anthem pumps everything. Pinani, Nomad Captain. When we attack, we get to pump all our creatures. Every attacking creature gets +1/+1 when Pinana attacks. This one will probably get killed off quite quickly, so be aware of that and make sure you've got enough around to do things with. Thalis, Shadow Cat Familiar, gives all our commanders Menace and Death Touch, so you know, Arvid becomes a Menace commander as well. Makes it even harder to block when you get a few pumps up. In Jeren, Corrupted Bishop, I forgot about this one, to be perfectly honest, coming in from Midnight Hunt. I have played it before, I do enjoy it, especially if I can get him to flip into Ormadale the Corrupted for the Flying Trampoline lifelink. Yeah, at the beginning of your end step, if you have exactly 13 life, you may pay 6 mana if you do transform Jerem. It's very hard to get exactly 13 life in Commander without dying there and then, but, you know, it's possible, and at the end of the day, it's a 2/3 that whenever it enters the battlefield, another non-token human you control dies, you lose a life and get a 1/1 human creature token. And then you give all your humans lifelink at the low cost of 2 generic mana, which in this deck is pretty good. Anyway, Drana, Liberator of Malachi, is also here as a vampire, just to chuck some +1/+1 counters around. Then we have a few of the newer cards. Calavino, First of the Blessed, is also here as well, just to help out with the attacking side of things. Benthalor, the Ruling Steward from Lord of the Rings, makes an appearance to give us another way of sacking creatures off to lose life, well, make our opponents lose life and us gain life. General Kuthru of Thranith also makes an appearance, gives all our humans +1/+1, and whenever this or another human enters the battlefield under control, exile a card from someone's graveyard, and then we can sack a couple of humans if need be to blow up a creature that's annoying us that's power 4 or more. Aron, Benalia's Ruin, is also here, got Menace, we can sack another creature, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature we control. And a little bit of fun, coming in from the Lost Canvas of Ixalan, Matzalantini, the Great Door. Draw and discard for tapping for 3 mana, and then 4 mana, transform it. Only if there are 4 or more permanent types amongst cards in your graveyard. Artifact, battle, creature, enchantment, land, and planeswalker are permanents types. I'm going to be honest, I think I boo-booed with this. I forgot we needed to have one of each type. We haven't got any planeswalkers in the deck, so we'll take it out and I'll put backup win conditioning, which I'll get to in a minute now. Day of Destiny basically is an enchantment version of the +2/+2 from Arvid, which is nice because this affects Arvid as well. Marael, Shield of Argav, yep, had to have this here, didn't we? Stop anything being cast during our turn, and then give us a whole load of soldiers when we get attacking going on. Rhoda, Geist of Avenger, obviously we can't partner with Timmin because Timmin's blue, but you know, whenever a creature control becomes tapped, if it isn't being declared as attacker, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on Rhoda. There's elves, there's birds, there's all sorts of things that people tap nowadays, so it's great. Smothering Tithe to give us a little bit more mana if we need it. Baird, Steward of Argive, it gives us a way to hold back the swarms that we may be facing because they have to pay 1 each for time they want to attack with those creatures. Greymore, Avacyn Stalwart. Now, you may recognise this guy as Rick, the Steadfast Leader from the Walking Dead set. Yeah, again, I have issues with The Walking Dead being an MTGO, a bit like I have with Transformers. We're not going into that today, but hey, the Magic version's here, and yeah, it is here, and it's very good to make sure that all our humans get one of these 2 abilities, and then potentially +2/+2 as long as we've got 4 or more, which we should have with this deck. So yeah, Greymoor's here. The Thousand Moon Smithy is also here, where we can tap 5 untapped creatures or artifacts, that's fine, and transform it to make some gnomes, which could be helpful to us as a little bit of sort of like zombie blockers. Shadowheart, Dark Justica gives us a way to gain some, draw some cards when we need to. Yeah, these lovely tokens we make, gnomes we make great fodder. Damnation gives us a little bit of board control. Ariel, Knight of Windgrace, it gives us a way to create knight tokens, and then we can use some of the knights to destroy things with power X or less. Elenda, the Dusk Rose, gives us a lovely way of getting a whole load of vampire tokens to win the game with eventually when it dies. And Nevia, Stalked by Nightmares from the Wilds Veil Drain set, just a little bit recursion. There's a few enchantments, so we might get the occasional +1/+1 and scry in the deck, but at the end of the day, this is here purely to return anything that has been killed off before we can trigger our Elixir of Immortality. And the Kenrith's Royal Funeral, I had to have this in from the Aftermath set. Yeah, we'll exile a couple of legendary creature cards from our graveyard and draw X cards and lose that life. That's fine. And then legendary spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each card exiled with the Kenrith's Royal Funeral. So exile a couple of them. It's going to drop the cost of all our legendary spells by 2, which I'm quite happy to do in this deck. That's fine. Speaking of things that control the board for us, Urza's Ruinous Blast will destroy everything apart from our legendary permanents. Cathar's Crusade makes everything bigger. I had to have this here to make sure we get some +1/+1 counters kicking around. Kinzu of the Bleak Crown gives us a way of getting some of our tokens back if we want to exile them. Otherwise, we've got a 5/4 with flying, which is really nice. Krav the Unredeemed. We have got Regina the Redeemer in here as well. More card draw, making things bigger. Let's go for it. Massacre Girl, again, helps control the board. There's a lot of 1/1s, 2/2s, and so on and so forth kicking around in a lot of decks nowadays. This soon clears the board out. Be careful we don't kill too many of our own creatures by casting her, though. So Conrad the Grim does the whole let's deal damage to everybody when things hit the graveyard. We all know what it does. Carmen the Cruel Sky March is also in from the latest set, Lost Caverns of Ixalan. Just when people sack things, we get to put +1/+1 counters around and gain life, including us when we hit our treasures. Ravos Soul Tender gives all our creatures +1/+1, and in the beginning of our upkeep we get to return something from our graveyard to our hand as a creature. Hero's Podium bumps up all our creatures, and then we get to find legendary creatures by X mana and tapping. Regina, I've already mentioned. Hopefully we'll gain some life and get some Soul Warrior tokens. And Sengir the Dark Baron, I love this card. I'm so glad they did an updated version of Sengir in the original Commander Legends. Yeah, Legends set. There we go. And whenever another creature dies, you get to put some +2 +1/+1 counters on Sengir. And whenever another player loses a game, you gain life equal to that player's life total as the turn began. Very nice. Thank you. The backup Wink edition I just dropped in, as you probably worked out if you looked at the back of my screen, is Approach of the Second Sun. Achroma, Vision of Ixodor, is also here as well to help us put some real things around. Primeval's Glorious Rebirth gives us a way to return everything in our graveyard to play, because it will be mainly legendary permanents. Last two cards, Avacynth's Angel of Hope. We had to have this here. Vigilance, Flying, and Indestructible. Yeah, okay, then given everything else indestructible. And obviously her Memorial also makes an appearance. Gives all other legendary permanents we control indestructible. Obviously, you know, Avacynth is better because it makes everything indestructible. But, you know, if you get the Memorial out, save all your legendary stuff. And maybe Flowering Tree or something. You know, keep everyone happy and bouncing and going well. But that's it. That is my take today on Arvad the Cursed. I hope you've enjoyed it. Like I said, Arvad is something I haven't played before. I have got a paper version of Arvad as well. But my MTGO version, because of some of the cards, a little bit better. If you haven't before, hit the subscribe button down below. Help me out there a little bit. Like I said at the start, Twitch, really appreciate some followers over on Twitch as well. Come and watch me play some of these decks I talk about in the YouTube videos. That's it for now. Be back very soon with another video around a card that I get randomly assigned via my randomizer. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you soon. Bye.